And don't. Oh, go on. Go on.
No.
Toss the body on the grenade.
We have to cut this out.
Welcome to the Beacon House Podcast, recorded live in Knoxville, Tennessee.
And that's why I think Batman's actually Jewish. It just makes sense.
Folks,
sorry, I really got to stop doing that.
It shouldn't even be that fucking funny.
Yeah,
it really shouldn't.
You know what's terrible is
that was my worst one. I think
no matter what he says, you just go to pieces.
Yeah,
that's kind of the most.
I'm actually crying.
That was my worst one. I'm not proud of that one.
I don't.
Shouldn't be. I don't
know. The whole point is they don't have to be good. He is defenseless.
That's true. I think he's waiting for it. He knows it's going to happen, and I just do it.
That's right.
There's no way. We'll never mind.
Okay, thanks.
I'm going to leave that one there.
Well, and on that note, folks, you are tuned into another episode of the Beacon House Podcast right here in Knoxville, Tennessee. I'm Spence.
I'm Hunter.
I'm Casey. And before we get going, Hunter, you mentioned something right before we started recording that you wanted to apologize to me for something.
Oh, yeah. I said I wanted to because I knew Spence would run if I involved him, but we both need to apologize to you.
Really?
Yeah.
We both do?
Okay, check this out.
My goodness.
Now, it won't take long, but my middle brother, Adam. Why do I say middle
Adam,
brother?
thank you so much for making them apologize to me.
Anyways, Adam was on the phone with me the other day, and he was saying, "Oh, by the way, listen to the podcast. It's really cool. I like, you guys are interesting. It's funny. I like what you talk about, all that stuff, and it really flattering." So he loves it. So thanks for listening, Adam. I'm glad you like it. But in a moment that is way more common than he gives himself credit for, he's way smarter than he gives himself credit for. In his listening, he goes, "I need to point something out to you, Hunter, about your second episode." And how it relates to the first one. And I was like, what?
Uh-oh.
And he goes, so the way Casey wanted to go to Mars and all that, and you and Spence were trying to convince him not to, and because it was a bad idea and it wasn't safe. And I was like, yeah. And he goes, I really think it's kind of hypocritical for you guys to yuck his yum.
That's right. Mars is my yum, and you guys yucked it.
I just want to...
Because it's a bad fucking idea, Casey, but I am sorry.
I just want to say that the whole yuck your yum thing, I was never a proponent of that. I was literally sitting here talking about something cool like Han Solo or beer or whatever that was in that first episode, and you, sir, were the one that brought that whatever that anomaly to the podcast.
That like grandparent from the 50s. This
yes.
is down
hold
younger.
up.
Thinking back now, though, I did later tell the audience to not let anyone yuck their yum.
See, do you see how defensive he's getting since
That's
I dragged
true.
him
He
into it?
Don't
Don't
he does not want to
backpedal.
apologize to me about
Spencer
Mars.
I was
is
thinking of my actions.
a good person,
Maybe
but-
I have something to... You know what's fun? No. I talked to people, too. I got some feedback about that. And I talked to my good friend... Charles Trailer, we call him Zeke. Zeke, if you're listening, what's up? I think Zeke does listen.
Yeah.
You're a good man,
I hope
Zeke.
so.
You're a good man. But I mentioned it to him. I was like, hey, did you hear that podcast? Casey wanted to go to Mars, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, yeah, I don't see why you guys had such a big problem with it. And I was like, and I went back into the whole explanation. It's because it's a desolate, barren wasteland. It's a terrible idea. He goes, well, you got to think when, settlers first started making their way westward across America, basically every place they went to was like that. It was something unexplored, unsettled, like these He goes, honestly, you guys, I would consider the colonization of Mars just like the next step in westward expansion.
Okay, hold on.
Thank you, Zeke.
The Mars rover tweets us photographs. It looks nothing like any part of
but it is
America except the
unexplored.
parts of America.
Okay,
that
look,
Unexplored territory.
All I'm saying is, Mars looks terrible, like as far as a place to live. And I know that it's not sunny California, but I'm pretty sure there's some parts of like South Dakota that are about the same.
Yeah.
In fact, they're probably not as pretty as Mars.
Or Nevada.
Yeah. But again, the one
There's
difference.
somewhere right outside of Vegas that looks like Mars.
Yeah, my whole one thing is, guess what? The settlers never had to put up with no oxygen. Okay.
Okay, that's fair.
There's that,
or
but-
Martians.
But what, no, that's the thing. What about
or
the
like lack of
military bases
atmosphere?
on
Like they'd be
Mars,
like, "Oh man, that's a dang heck of a river over there in Wyoming. We're gonna have to ford the whatever, But we can fucking breathe
Whoa.
while we're doing it. Okay,
Whoa.
we can fucking breathe.
Hold up. Pump the brakes. Why do the settlers have to be hillbillies?
That wasn't hillbilly. That was early American settler.
Yeah, why do you think they're
Are you
hillbillies?
That was
Because
Oregon.
They came from England. So
That
I'm
was
pretty
Oregon
sure
Trail.
He's a history buff, and that was incredibly accurate, and you're shitting on it. So
I'm
why?
not, but thank
He is
you.
not a history
You
buff.
have just projected your own feelings about that accent.
But now, if you want to get into dialects, I will tell you this.
I hate you guys so
I will tell you
much.
this. Do you know that all the southern dialects, all of the redneck, like mountain hillbilly and I don't say that as a slight against these people either. A lot of people that study dialects and linguistics and stuff will tell you that any accent, no matter how ignorant we think it sounds, any accent is like a real special thing, and it's got a traceable lineage and stuff to it. So like the people that we consider hillbillies in Kentucky, at East Tennessee, Virginia, whatever, those people were probably Scottish, Irish. They had a very specific part of Europe that they came from. So those dialects actually can be traced back to like Celtic things, and it's not as like boneheaded as you might think.
actually-
And also-
it just doesn't sound like every dick on the news that's reading the weather or whatever. You know, like there's this like when you get into like people that speak for a living in America, they don't have any accent, and we tend to think those people sound intelligent, and then anybody that actually has like a dialect, they sound like an idiot. But that's not really the case.
I also think those, like hillbillies or mountain people or, whatever you want to call them. I'm sounding probably really,
Yeah, this is
insensitive
like
right
when
now.
you wouldn't let anybody use your phone or whatever.
Oh my goodness.
Imagine if a hillbilly
I
would have
still feel
lost
like-
his phone. What would you have done then?
Well, I don't think they'd. Never mind. I just feel like those people are.
He's like, I don't think people have phones. It's 2018,
That's why
dude.
he
It's
left it
2018.
there.
I
Okay?
still
There's
feel
a
like-
cell phone tower like in
I didn't
Appalachia.
say it, you said it. And all I'm saying is I think those people will survive any end of the world scenario because they know how to survive without like the things that would drive us nuts, like not having internet or not having constant TV. Like they know how to go out and actually like
You
live.
talk about them like they're a different species.
But
But they're like they know how to survive.
You're like, look carefully. Don't make a sound.
No.
We're observing
He's-
the
oh my
North
goodness.
American moonshiner.
He's totally right, though, because
Look how he has X's for eyes, just like all the pictures in Sevierville and Pigeon Forge.
See, but that stuff is a byproduct of actual wisdom, which is a practical form of knowledge, and intelligence is not, again, generalizations. I'm sorry. But if you accept the generalizations of these, ultimately that stuff is looked down upon because it's threatening to the arrogance of hyper-intellectualism instead of, normal intellectualism, where you can be intelligent and wise, but those are not the same thing. They're different things. They're wise in the ways of survival, the ways of, the land and all that. And people like us, shit goes down. What are we going to do?
We're wise in like internet. Like I know how to
Yeah.
fix my computer if it
And
stops
it all
working.
has its place, but they're definitely way more ready for actual shit to go down.
Well, yeah, and I got to say this about the technological age. You're like one power outage away from being a caveman again.
Yeah.
So if you haven't actually thought about what you would do if like all of a sudden we just didn't have electricity
When
anymore.
Yellowstone goes?
Yeah, whatever. But again, whatever.
How did we get here? How did we get to the? What were we talking about?
You
before?
were hiding in the bushes doing like a nature observatory of like people that live in the
No,
mountains.
before this. How did we get all the way to?
Look, he carries a very specific nondescript brown jug with 3 X's on it. I bet it's got moonshine in it.
To answer your question, Spencer went, well, who-would-it-do? It looks just like Mars. Rich do. And you said,
don't
why
know.
are you sounding like a hillbilly?
Also, I just
think-
feel like settlers, if they came over from England and got off the boat, they don't automatically like hit the southeast coast and went, well, golly, look where I'm at. I think they still had English accents for a while.
Well, actually, if you've noticed, English actors tend to be able to make
we're
Southern
getting-
accents sound way more realistic.
Yeah,
than
Yeah, and that's
American
probably
ones.
what happened. The
And it's
English
because
guys
it's
came over.
descended from it.
The English guys came over and just acted like the cowboys.
I think we're
Christian
getting
Bale is
really,
great in
You're telling me there's
310
not a copy of Gunsmoke or a Tombstone floating around in England anywhere? Come on. They knew how to act when they got over here. They
that's
probably got
fair.
their leather straps and their...
I'm sure everybody in the show Westworld is probably British.
Yeah.
That's just HBO.
They're just doing like
it's
a
fair,
Western
though.
accent. That's all.
I think we're getting really insensitive, and a lot of people are probably laughing but feeling bad about it.
But if
I
anything,
hope
they
not.
feel bad about how stupid we are talking
Maybe,
about
yeah.
it.
They're like, oh my god, these guys are so uneducated.
Yeah. we're
Okay,
used
hold
to it.
on. No, I
Oh
defended.
my god, Spencer
I
and
defended
Casey are
both
so
sides.
uneducated. Hunter, however, uses a big vocabulary, so he's good.
Well,
So, what did you want to talk about, Casey?
Yeah, moving on from that, do we have any other topic? Because clearly we've spun out all of our ignorance on dialects and origin stories of like the North American people, whatever.
Well, I told you guys that I had something I wanted to come clean about, especially here and open, like where everyone can hear it, so I can really just shame myself.
This is the big reveal. We've been waiting on it.
Is this worse than Godzilla porn? Because I have not lived that down.
No, it's not that. It's just.
Okay.
I would like to say this: when we launched the World Needs a Haro episode about the Godzilla actor, when I put the teaser picture up of him on the movie set, and I said this is coming up in 3 days, 3 days before the Godzilla episode, a lot of people messaged me and they literally thought we were about to do a whole episode on Godzilla porn.
Are you serious?
Yeah, because you.
I'm glad we didn't do that.
Because you couldn't go through one freaking episode without talking about it. At the first episode, Godzilla porn came out. So 2 episodes later, when we talk about Godzilla, guess what everybody thinks it is? Porn.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
just want to reiterate one last time. I said that I looked it up to try to prove a point that I was proven to be wrong about, and I also described it as, while made by talented artists, hyper unpleasant. I don't know why we would talk about it further.
I know a lot of guys probably said that when they got caught.
I can't say anything to that. That's a good point.
back to my terrible discovery, or
Epiphany,
I guess, maybe. I don't know.
Spit it out.
So the last 10 years, from when I was 18 years old till now, I've not done something, even though I've said I've done it. What can you think that is? And don't be hateful. Just actually thinking about it. What do you think that is?
Is it something you claim to do a lot?
Once,
have you been pretending to be?
In a while.
Have you been pretending to be a?
No, not sports clips.
Okay.
You've been pretending to be like a whole different person.
No, it's not like one of those things. Like whenever I show up to a bar and with another group of people over on that side, I'd be like, "Hey, don't think it's weird if I talk with a British accent."
Do you do that?
No, I don't do that.
Were you pretending to be a cowboy?
Nope, not pretending.
That
to
was
be
a
a
big-
cowboy.
Pretending to be Casey.
Yeah, that was a big thing in the big trend in the early Americas.
No.
Is it okay? Wow. Is
I
it
just
something
feel like
that's,
it doesn't matter.
Is
but-
it something that
but it's
nobody would
something
care
that-
about? Like, hey, you guys, I'm just kidding. I never eat cereal. Is it going to be something stupid like that?
No, it's not something stupid like that. It's something that people are going to actually get probably hateful with me, and I'm going to.
Is it something you feel like you're known for?
No, it's not even a thing like that. It's something that everyone needs to do, and I just don't do it.
What the crap are we talking about?
He doesn't wipe.
No, I definitely do that.
Front to back, back to front. You're not sure. I know there's like a hygiene issue. Let's not get into it.
No, I don't want to get into that. That's.
Sorry, potty humor does not belong on this podcast.
That's
you.
not true. There will be much potty humor
Spencer,
on this
get out.
podcast. No.
What could it be? What could it be?
I don't know.
Okay.
It's something I had to be 18 to start doing.
Okay, let's do this.
Having
Let's do
sex.
this. Hold on a second. I think you just gave it away when you said 18.
Okay.
I think he's still going to. I think you're going to say that you tell everybody you do, but you did not actually vote.
Yep.
Okay. Can I ask? This is
Wait,
gonna
is
sound
that,
like
did you say yes? That's what
Yep.
it is?
That's what it is.
You've never voted?
I've never voted because I never really cared to.
right? And I'm here to tell you that's okay. And you were. A lot of people feel that way, and I did for a long time. You know what I'm saying? Like,
How long was it until you actually voted, though?
until I discovered Ron Paul.
Okay.
And I'm not trying to dissuade anybody or influence anybody. I grew up not trusting the government. Well, first I grew up not understanding the government. I grew up when I was little, Reagan was president, and it was the 80s, and nobody was mad about anything. I mean, some people, Frank Zappa was mad, and I understood later why. But, and then like Bill Clinton came in the 90s, and then politics started to get this like glossy sheen over it, and all the influence I had from music and bands and people that I looked up to were usually artists and musicians, and like they were super anti-trust in the government. And it started with like George Bush Sr. and went through the Clintons and blah, 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 blah. And it kind of continued up. So I learned to not trust the government early on because of all the dirty, underhanded, screwy things they do behind closed doors. And how they manipulate and lie to the American people. I still believe that to this day. Sorry for anyone that's a super patriot or whatever. I think patriotism is incredible. I think I get it. But I basically kind of tuned out because I thought, what's the big deal? And, they're just going to screw us one way or the other. Better to just be a skeptic.
So for me, sorry, Hunter, I didn't mean to.
No,
did
you're
you want to
fine.
say something?
No, I wasn't going to.
I
I think
saw
you
it-
can be a patriot and skeptical at the same time. That's how I feel about stuff.
And I think
Sure.
for me, the reason I haven't done it in the 10 years I've been able to vote is because I've never found somebody to vote for that I believed in enough to vote for.
I thought you were a big Bernie Sanders guy. I thought you were into Sanders.
I liked what he had to say, but in the end, it's one of those things like you hear him say all this great stuff and you're like, there's no way you're going to come through with all that. I mean, honestly, I thought he was a great guy. What he stood for was fantastic, but there was no way that Congress was going to let him get everything that he wanted to. Impossible. And so I was like, that would just be, and a lot of people were like, you know, basically what it was is anybody that asked me who you voted for, I just went, that's my business. I'm not going to tell you who I voted for.
Yeah, and I want to
really
say...
what it was is I just didn't vote because I don't care.
That's what, Casey, a lot of... You know what, man? No judgment at all. You said I was going to get mad at you.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what kind of
You get really upset when you hear people don't vote. You're like...
No. I don't get upset about it. I'm concerned about the reasons people feel like it's okay to not vote. And I'll tell a little story here real quick. I won't try to get too far off topic. I saw this... one time I went to see Henry Rollins downtown at the Bijou Theater, and he was doing his spoken word thing, which is sort of a comedy show, but also there's some compelling thought. And Henry Rollins is a really bright guy. So I don't agree with him on everything. I don't agree with him on all of his politics or any of that kind of stuff. But here's what he said. And here's something that I think is pretty compelling. He said, you got to vote. He goes, here's why. Some people think that when you cast your vote, when you go into that little box and you turn the dial or press the button or the curtain, whatever your voting apparatus is, some people think that once you vote, that your vote just disappears into thin air. It doesn't affect anything. They've already decided the outcome. How can one person make a difference? Some people think that, oh yeah, I'm really going to stick it to them. They're going to see this vote. Some people try to vote like a horse race. Some people are afraid to vote for somebody that might not win. It's like they're trying to bet on the winner and they jump on that. That's that tribal stuff we talked about a while back. But regardless of what you believe about where your vote goes or whether the election's rigged or not, and this is where I really started to pay attention, okay? Because I believe a lot of conspiracy things. You know, I think like, I don't really know. I think there's a lot going on, but some of it doesn't make sense. Like the good guy's never going to win. He always gets outed. And Henry had sort of covered all that at this point. He goes, no matter what you think, you still got to vote. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm better hear an explanation for this. He says, here's why. Because people in other countries are willing to die for the right to have their vote counted. There are people who would give their life. People have been giving their lives for years and years and years just to get the right to go and vote for what happens to them in the future, for how the outcome of their society is. There were political prisoners. He talked about getting to go and visit like the political prisons where Nelson Mandela was, and how they told stories that when they were imprisoned, they would write down the tenets of democracy and slide it under the doors, and that gave them something to live for. There are men who have laid down everything, walked away from families, gone to fight with legislation, whatever. People have given their lives for the right to vote. And just because of that fact alone, to sit at home on that day, when he put it that way, I was like, dang, he's right. He's totally right. Like, I'm going to get out and do it. Like, it's due process. It's a very, very, like, we probably should save this episode for like the 4th of July or something, but it's part of being in America. And right now, maybe America's not so great, or you've got this guy in the White House that nobody likes, and I get it. And we've obviously had a problem with leadership for a long time. I think it was way back past Trump. Into multiple past presidents that we've had. But, you know, it's still a big deal to go vote. And it's just sad that in this country, you know what I mean? You've got people that just sit on the couch. You're born with the right to have your vote counted. You're born with the right to have an opinion. You're protected by the Constitution to say whatever you want to say. You know what I mean? And other people would do anything to just have that type of liberty, just for a second.
That actually goes to...
It gets taken for granted. That's sad.
Sorry. That goes to what I was raised with based on what Mom's dad used to tell her. And I've never missed an election since I turned 18. I was super excited to get involved and start doing it.
I can't say that I've never missed an election since I was 18. That's absolutely not true.
I'm incredibly proud to do it, which, again, not a knock on either you waiting and you not having done it yet. Most of my friends haven't, and it's for similar reasons, and I think those reasons are completely valid. But speaking to what you were talking about with people that just want their voice heard and everything, a lot of those people feel disenfranchised and disillusioned with everything, and I understand that. And there is a lot of shady shit that happens in the government, so I'm not denying that at all.
100%.
But as Mom's dad said, which is where it comes down to why it is still important here just on that, like, moral level, if not the life or death level, these people are upset and I'm only talking about the ones that don't vote, but that are upset, ultimately they're trying to go about causing social change, which is fine, but they're not going through the avenues that can cause social change, which is what the government, in that regard, is an aspect of it that can work. You're supposed to vote in the people that support what you believe in, and then it's up to them to actually do that. But what Mom's dad used to say is, if you don't vote, you don't have bitching rights.
I think George Carlin had something against that.
Yeah, but it was a joke.
No,
I love George Carlin, but I was about to bring that up. But the thing about it, here's another. Let me put it another way. Have you guys ever heard of Ralph Nader? You know who Ralph Nader is? Mm-hmm. Okay. Nader's a big ass kick into the pants of the system type of a guy. He's a lawyer, He's the reason they have seatbelts in cars, the Clean Water Act, all that kind of stuff. He did a lot of big stuff, but people hate him because he gets on TV and tells the truth. Anyway, Nader was telling all these people, it was a group of students at UT, the people that were there, he said, listen, or maybe it was, I heard Nader talking about this, and he said, I know a lot of young people have a hard time turning on to politics. And that's okay. He goes, but you've got to understand eventually, if you don't turn on politics will turn on you. Mm-hmm. And simply by sitting there with your head in the sand, other people run away with all your rights. And things happen behind your back that you don't know. And that's how they like to do stuff while nobody's watching.
Yep.
And that's the scary thing. That's why once you realize how much the government does not have your best interest at heart, you'll start looking for the people who do. Hopefully they get on TV and fight. We can watch it on YouTube,
I just, to be clear, my example, even though I just want to say it's not meant to discredit the way any of these people actually feel, but it's just the avenue is there and you're not using it. Even if it doesn't work for you, you should at least still try to use it and then keep going about doing other things too. But the point is just you're not using the main path to
That's kind of what Nader was saying. That he goes, he the whole room full of people. He goes, who in here feels like they've ever been ripped off by a business or something? Mm-hmm. And every hand went up. And then, do you guys hear my elbow just pop?
Yeah, was that what that was?
Yeah. I hope Ralph didn't hear it that day either. Too. I'm old as crap, you guys. Anyway, every hand goes up, and he goes, okay, did you take him to small claims court? Every hand went down. He goes, why not? You have this thing built into your local, if somebody rips you off, you can go sue them. Mm-hmm. If it's below a certain dollar amount, you don't need a lawyer even. You just file and represent yourself. Go before the judge, tell them what happened, get your money back. Yeah. We have a lot of tools built into the system we never use. I don't know. Whatever. I feel like they don't want you to know. I really do, and I know that's here comes the conspiracy, and I'm a nut. I've got my tinfoil hat, and I sound now like the settlers who were impersonating the cowboys. But
I would love to move this into that. However, I've been kind of quiet for a minute, and people are probably concerned.
Yeah, come on.
Probably still not going to vote.
Did you bring this up because of us talking about it the other week, or did it just occur to you?
No, it's something I was watching a lot of videos, political videos and things like that, and it dawned on me as I really don't think I will. I don't think I'll actually go out and vote until that one person comes along that I see them, hear what they say, and it changes my mind.
Yeah, that's what happened to me. I had a buddy of mine said, all these people running the election, I was like, oh my God, it's terrible. He goes, hey, there's a guy you might want to listen to. His name's Ron Paul. And I was like, I don't trust anybody with two first names. And so I thought that would get a better laugh than it did. But anyway, thanks. And I went and listened to him, and I was like, hey, he was the only guy that sounded different. And he was the only guy that was disagreeing with his own party. Mm-hmm. It just struck me this guy's telling the truth. I really feel like he is, and he was into Austrian economics, not Keynesian economics. You guys can Google all this. We're not gonna have a.
I will say there is one person that I've been following and watching, and I feel like if she gets into the primaries, absolutely, that would be the one person that would pull me out of this funk and make me go vote for sure.
Tulsi Gabbard, is it senator or congresswoman from Hawaii?
Yes.
Which one? Senator? She's Senator House.
I think she's.
I feel bad that we don't know. Anyway, she's sharp.
I'm gonna look her up.
She's sharp.
I've been watching videos of her, politics and stances on things.
She's sharp.
She was, I believe, a medic in Iraq. She served in the army, mm-hmm. and it's just
she's been over there feet on the ground. She actually visits these countries instead of just reading a report while you funnel a bunch of money through your organization so you can launder. Here's the thing. Regardless of whether you think it should be like higher taxes and more stuff, or if it should be like unshackle the economy, whichever side of the coin you fall on. I encourage anybody listening to this, and you guys too, to just try to look for the people that aren't crooks. Sometimes they're easy to spot, sometimes not so easy. But the first thing that strikes me about her is she's very intelligent, she's super articulate, she's very like outspoken, and she doesn't seem like a crook. I really believe her. And I feel the same way about Rand Paul. I felt the same way about his dad, Ron Paul. There's a guy on the Democratic side, Dennis Kucinich, that's totally always voted on the right side. He's like, I just don't, some of the people aren't crooks. And there's maybe a couple others too, but those are the ones that typically has really stood out for me. And
it's like every time it comes election year and you watch the debates and things like that, like I watch the debates. I'll actually put effort into listening what they have to say, and never, ever has it been like a light bulb where I'm like, I like what they're saying, I'm going to go vote for them. It just seems all very written, like they're reading off of fucking cue cards, and they're just saying what you want to hear. But when I listen to Tulsi talk, it's just like she's talking to me, not, reading from index.
Sure.
So here's a question for you, Casey. I've been rewatching The West Wing recently, and it's been giving me ideas. When I run in 10 years,
okay,
are you going to vote for me or
Probably
not?
Yeah.
Sorry, bud. I don't think
That's
so.
what they all say.
Sorry.
I talked to Libby about it. She was like, please don't.
Yeah. Don't.
I don't want to, but, you get ideas when you watch
People
TV.
start digging into your closet.
First thing you're going to bring up is Godzilla porn.
Yep, that's right. They're going to look at
You
this
really
podcast.
want someone that looked up Godzilla porn on Google Images?
Yeah. But man, I know I give you props for admitting that, and like I know that's generally frowned upon, but I'm here to tell you this: like I don't think when somebody's never been given a reason to like get behind something, I don't think you can vilify them for not being behind.
It's for me. It's when I watch debates or arguments for people on the far left and the far right. The entire time they're talking, it's so hateful and just back and forth. I don't feel like they could ever have a decent conversation without, making fun of them or calling them names, things like that. And I'm just sitting here in the middle. I find myself dead in the middle of both sides, just being like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like, really, just stop. Like,
Yeah.
both of you are kind of right, but also very wrong in the same time.
Yeah, and when you hear people and they argue or they talk like children, that's not fun for anybody.
Or just throwing out cuss words just to,
when you hear the right guy, when you listen to the right guy, you'll know. I mean, you'll hear some ideas that really make your ears perk up, and it may not be the same guys I like. It might be somebody.
Might even be a girl.
It might be a girl,
a woman.
Man, like I told,
Gabbard.
dude, we should have had a female president long ago. Cynthia McKinney ran on the Green Party, and nobody even knew who she was. It just came and went. Everybody got mad that people voted for Jill Stein in this last election because they say those votes might have put Hillary over the top.
It was wasted votes, which is also something. Anytime I got in a conversation with people and they're like, "Who are you thinking about voting for?" I'm like, "I really like what Bernie Sanders has to say." They're like, "It's a waste of a vote."
Don't ever
it's a waste of a vote. And I'm like, "All right, well, I'm just not going to vote again."
Let me tell you something.
This is just absurd.
Let me tell you
They
something.
get constantly yelled at by who I think I might vote for.
Don't ever let anybody make you feel that way. Anybody listening to this, please, if you take anything away from this at all, don't ever let anybody tell you that there's such a thing as wasting your vote. That's just simply not true. Doesn't matter if you're voting for the likely candidate or your vote is there so you can do something. Vote for who you believe in. A vote that's wasted is a vote for the lesser of two evils. How many times have you heard that shit?
Yeah.
Well, I don't really like Hillary, but I like her. She's the lesser of two. And again, my guys, Ron Paul and Ralph Nader, would tell you the lesser of two evils is still evil. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That's not a good vote. They're both wrong. Vote for the guy that's not a crook. Vote for dig in there. There's tons of parties now. You can vote for the Constitutionalist Party. You can vote for the Libertarian Party. Everybody in town's heard me preaching third party for like 10 years now, and a lot of people go, why should I vote third party? And I go, well, for starters, there's decent people in third parties. That's the biggest thing.
I've always felt like there needs to be three parties just to kind of even out the because it's always just like back and forth the two-party system. Throw another one in there to kind of stir shit up.
Or you put a libertarian on the stage with any of these dicks and he's going to smoke them. That's why they won't let it happen. But there's been a big thing. They've been campaigning to open the debates to other parties. At least get them on stage and hear what they have to say. Why
Instead
not?
of-
Well, that's also, I mean, like
The two-party system is one of the biggest dick and fart jokes in the entire American infrastructure.
Yeah, I hate it with a passion. Instead of having 80 Republican nominees talk to each other, how about we just get a nominee from each party if you're going to have that many people on stage in the first place?
Well, I also feel like you watched Jon Stewart, The Daily Show, back in 2012 when Ron Paul was running, and it's one of those
smokescreen.
It's one of those things like people are like, oh, it's The Daily Show, it's not real news. But he pointed out something very, very noticeable, which is
he made a great point.
no one mentioned Ron Paul on the news. People would go at number 3 at the polls, you have this person, and number 1, you have this person. And it cuts back to Jon Stewart, and he's like, who's number 2?
Yeah.
Who?
Behind
is it,
who?
Oh, maybe Ron Paul?
Yeah. Oh, crazy Uncle Ron that says we don't have to like bomb other countries and blah blah blah. Like they asked him in the debates, they said, "Well, how are we supposed to get out of Afghanistan?" And he goes, "You just turn around and come home."
Yeah.
Same way we went in. Well, no, we can't do it. We've already spent all this money. Just leave. Just come home. That's how you get out. You just stop these wars. He got mad. They made Rudy Giuliani tried to make him look like an idiot because he told everybody the reason that we're getting bombed, or the reason that we're getting attacked by terrorists is we've been bombing them for 15 years. Look at the reasons that what causes terrorism. The militant occupation of 140 countries.
Yeah.
That's what causes it. Anyway, again, boy, this has been so serious, but don't ever let anybody tell you you're wasting your vote. If you vote for something you believe in, there is a ton of honor and ton of dignity in that. And the process, I agree. On that day, when you go and you stand there and you go up, the whole thing feels very special to me. Like everybody there, I vote at this little place out in Powell, and it's a high school gymnasium. And all the people that are working, all the voter, like the volunteers that are there, it's just a big deal. Everybody's like, it's just great to be there. It's great to be out voting. You have this, it has this very special feeling. It carries like a weight to it that I think is very, very cool. So maybe not everybody feels that way, but I always feel great when I leave. And like everybody, there's a lot of handshaking and,
Yeah, if you vote with a clear conscience and an honest heart, then there's no such thing as a wasted vote. You have done your part to try and make a change for the better. No one can shit on that.
Yeah, I think it would suck to just vote for it looks like he's ahead in the polls. I'll vote for him because I want to be able to say I voted for the winner. That's stupid.
Well, I mean, since we already delved into, serious political talk, religion? Anybody? Religion?
Jesus Christ. I can't.
He's our Lord and Savior. Yeah.
Criminy crabby.
Come on. Anybody? Religion?
I think that's
got
to be a different podcast. Oh, my God. It's already, somebody's got to start telling some fart jokes or something. This has been so serious.
This has been so serious.
I have managed to eat crystals twice in the last 2 weeks, and it didn't give me gas.
Do me a favor and don't brag about that.
And for all of you that may be listening to, I pretend like we've got this massive fan base. If you're listening like west of Nashville or what that, crystals is basically White Castle. What you guys call White Castle, we have a version called
Spencer,
crystals.
we do have a massive fan base. That's how we can afford Max, the assistant.
Max?
He plays drums when Brandon isn't here.
That's Max Weinberg, and he was on another show.
Is that the guy that joined Slipknot?
No, but
oh my God, get out of here!
Get out!
What the fuck?
Go back to crystals. What did you have at Crystals?
I had
the low carb
crystals.
Do you have a go-to crystal?
Do you have a better segue out of politics other than religion?
I
had a low carb.
Yeah, you went. You straight.
time
You pulled us out of the frying pan into the fire with that one. Jesus, holy mother of
2 sausage patties, cheese, and probably fast food fake eggs, but it had no carbs.
Oh, you had like crystal breakfast.
Yeah.
That's
I also had
very brave.
I also had 3 chili cheese pups the other time. So
because nothing goes with a bunch of eggs like chili dogs.
I didn't have them both at the same time. I had one for breakfast one day, and then the other time I got chili cheese puffs.
I feel like sometime in 2 weeks' time, he's going to erupt the toilet. He's just going to shatter it.
Because you had that poblano omelet that night. We were waiting. You've been eating very, very courageously.
At IHOP, by the way.
Yeah. I bet the night, I don't even want to know what it was like. Don't you live with other people?
What do you mean? What do you mean what it was like?
I mean, it was cruelty.
That was the night that we recorded a podcast at 3 a.m.
Yeah,
we all know what it was like.
Since then, you've had this awful thing you just talked about where you went to Crystal and it was just they probably thought you were burning a corpse in your room.
This is the part that we're trying to get to. You said that we would be home before the farts started coming when we were at IHOP.
I said that?
You did. And
I pretended to have some idea when the farts come.
This episode has been a dumpster fire.
Well, I think
Almost like the 2017 UT Vols football team.
Oh. I wish you all could
Victory
see
fist
him
bump.
dancing right now. Casey's
go ahead,
dancing.
man. Say some more things.
Let's really turn the tides on our fan
there's
base.
nothing to make the audience feel like you really gave them like a heartfelt like a pep up, like here's how we can save democracy, like here's why it's important to vote, by following with talking about fart jokes and how bad the Vols sucked last year. And we've have we transgressed? I feel like
I don't think in an effort to be consistent and not yuck someone else's yum, you can actually shit on sports fans or teams, because we've found a safer way to make gladiatorial combat
Hey, the basketball
socially
team won the
acceptable.
SEC championship, so go Vols.
Oh yeah, they were.
No, they lost on Sunday.
Oh, did
Well,
they
they
lose?
tied with Auburn for something SEC championship because they were wearing SEC championship shirts and people were posting about it. And then for some reason they played Kentucky in an SEC championship and then lost. I don't understand it, but they were proud, and go Vols.
I'm here to say, regardless of how the teams are doing, you cannot fight the power of UT sports.
No, that is.
No.
That is a fan base that will not go down.
That's a
easily.
good way to get a third party going.
Yeah.
That would defeat the
Have the
two-party
coach-
system.
have
real quick.
Republican, Democrat, or the Vols. One of those is going to be a lot louder than the other.
Before we end, I think one way to end on a good note and kind of smooth everything over from this dumpster fire of a
Bullshit.
Why do you-
bullshit episode is this episode's probably, I mean, we're recording this in March.
Yeah.
This episode's probably not coming out till May, just because of all the things we have planned before that to come out.
Maybe, but now if it comes out in April, we're going to look like a bunch of dicks.
All right, well, if it comes out in April, it comes out in April.
It's not gonna come out in
However,
March.
I just want to say thank you for all the support. From the moment that we started till March and beyond of what's going to come before this episode launches, thank you for the support. This has been one of like the dream come trues for me, to just make content with friends and share it with people, whether people agree with me or not, think I'm an idiot for not voting. Sure, absolutely. I agree with you. I feel a little bad about it myself.
You also
That's why
made
I lied
fun
for
of
10
you also
years.
made fun of people with like accents that live in the mountains.
I didn't. I just whatever. I'm sorry. I just thank you for the support. I appreciate it. It's been fun. I can't wait to just keep going with this. It's great.
Spencer?
I just want to keep busting his balls.
Leave me alone.
Casey's right. You guys have been super involved, and the amount of people that jumped on board immediately, listen every episode, and then tell us how full of shit we are every week is incredible. So thank you for that. And Spencer's now going to say something nice to you as well.
He's got to.
I don't know about that. I don't.
You're not thankful for the support.
I'm absolutely thankful for the support. I just feel like
I got him. I pulled him
I
in.
just feel like you shut up. This is the same guy that said like I won't call somebody's cell phone if they're like miss their phone. I want to go to Mars. Like I don't want to just agree with you, but
It's
thanks.
fair. I'm very antisocial and I want to be by myself on another planet. But I still appreciate the support from our friends and family and followers.
What if you went to Mars and your podcast on Mars didn't get any support?
I wouldn't. If I went to Mars, I'd be suffocating from the lack of oxygen.
No. Don't say that now. No.
Don't say that now.
You're gonna have a nice little space station and a nice little spacesuit with a helmet and
Yeah,
a
and I'll
gas
be
tank.
taking the nuke to the northern ice cap while the other guy I flew up there with is taking a nuke to the
Why
southern
are you
ice
taking
cap.
nukes to Mars?
Oh, you didn't hear Elon Musk's idea? This is like old news.
I think we're gonna salvage this episode.
We may salvage it.
You
What
didn't know
happened?
this? Elon Musk talked about nuking both polar ice caps on Mars to create an atmosphere. It would take forever, and our generation probably would never see but it would create an atmosphere and actually start to cause growth.
That would
after the
be-
radiation left. It's very evil genius, and it was very bizarre. But it was he said it, not me. Don't look
Go
at
back
that.
and listen
It's
to
kind
Casey.
of Doctor Doom.
Go listen to Casey Goes to Mars. He is Atlantean and wants to destroy Mars. He's not Martian trying to get back.
if some
He's a Martian
dude-
trying to get home.
Yeah, that's why he wants to destroy the planet.
If that guy was able to nuke Mars in such a way that it created an atmosphere and made it like a nice place to live, that would be the most baller move
Right?
of any that
It's almost like you wouldn't mind he shot a car into space.
Oh, I would be in the next car that he shot into space. You know, like if you could create an atmosphere on another planet, my God.
I think this episode should be called Dumpster Fire.
What would Christopher Reeves do about the nukes, do you think? Superman.
I know who that is, but
Why are you looking at me?
Hunter.
I know.
He's dead.
I know he's dead. This is hypothetically.
We could toss his body on top of it.
Richard Donner would send him into space.
what you again? Don't. Oh, go on.
No.
Toss the body on the grenade.
We have to cut this out.
Toss the body on the grenade. Hunter, keep going.
What the hell, Casey?
I want to understand your question. What do you think Christopher Reeve would do?
Yeah, no. When in saying Christopher Reeves, I was trying to say Superman, but I was trying to point out the Superman that people accept as Superman, and not Henry Cavill, who I love as Superman, but most people don't. I was just trying to go
start with Henry Cavill, who's actually Superman right now.
Because most people don't like him as Superman, as what I was saying. If you bring up Christopher
Everyone's
Reeves,
such a great fan of Christopher Reeves.
he did the movie where he like took all the nukes and like disarmed them, right?
I don't know. I didn't watch the old Superman.
Well, I'm still hung up on throw the body on the. Like I can't.
Oh my God, Casey!
You're going to be on Mars, drinking your founder's breakfast stout, not loaning anybody your damn cell phone, not
wearing
voting,
my Han Solo yoga pants,
not
white
giving a
shirt and blue vest.
Just not giving a crap, reviewing movies, and like I mean that one.
You know what I definitely won't do on Mars? Vote.
Jesus. Even after my giant tirade for this whole episode?
I just want to say I'm really proud of you guys for bringing meta humor into this non-Euclidean podcast.
Jesus.
Get out, Hunter.
Guys, we're sorry.
If you actually listen to this episode, if we actually get the balls to put this episode out,
that's the first hurdle right there.
If we actually put this episode out, I don't think it will. If we do,
if our crotch catches on fire and we finish this take.
Actually, you know what? I just want to apologize to future Spencer, who's editing this right now. I'm real sorry you had to cut this out.
Thanks, dude.
When I
come across this, I'll appreciate it.
That actually ties into the Cloverfield paradox, and this is infinitely more.
Stop it.
Okay, I'm starting the music. I'm just going to
start the music.
I'll start the fucking music.
I was just going to say.
Oh my!
Yeah, exactly.
Welcome to the beginning.
That's the intro.
I know.
Get out.
We don't have a fucking outro.
Okay, so anyway, we do appreciate all the support. Please contact us on social media. We'll have something else fun coming up for you guys soon. Look for the movie reviews, bonus episode, whatever. I have no idea what's going on anymore.
Wait for the comment section on this one.
It's good.
You can check it out on YouTube at the Beacon House Podcast, Instagram and Twitter.
Yeah, if you guys want to bitch, do it in the comments below.
You can complain and yell at me for not voting on Instagram and Twitter at Beacon House Knox.
Yeah, you can go on Twitter or Facebook or wherever and complain about me being a super opinionated libertarian nut job.
Just know that no matter what, we love you.
That's right. And it makes it hard for you to hate us when we love you so much.
And you can show us your love by donating.
Hugs for days.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna make that our first Beacon House shirt. Beacon House Hugs for days.
Hugs for days. Let's celebrate our differences, guys. Let's celebrate our diversity.
Hey guys, before we end this, happy Pi Day.
Is it Pi Day?
It is Pi Day.
Why didn't you lead off with that?
I'm sorry.
What the fuck, Casey?
Yeah, 314.
Well, hey, real quick before we drop the axe, do you associate Pi Day more with like pizza or with like dessert pie?
Dessert pie.
Mathematical pi of 3.14.
Get out of here.
Okay, for bonus, who invented that then? Who's it named after?
I love pizza, by the way.
Pythagoras?
Pizza pie is what I'd choose.
Pythagoras?
Yeah, it's Pythagoras. Yeah, that's right. Not pepperoni. Yeah. Anyway, so Pi
that was
Day.
unnecessary and mean.
Yeah, it was.
That's true. And just like pie, we're continue to just repeat ourselves. And on that note, it's been nice talking to you.
Oh my God.
My name's Spencer McCoy.
I'm Hunter Barnhart.
I'm Casey.
And we'll see you next time over there.
I hate you.
Oh,
my.